Ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. It's been a few days since I was on. In fact, the last video I did was of the trip on Saturday, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But I've jumped on today because I picked up this deck today. I bought it from a friend who lives very close by, and we met up at lunchtime today for a coffee. Because I was giving him a deck, and he brought this along, which is the Red Threads Tarot. Now, I believe there was another deck by Linda Hall, I think called the Red Seeds or something like that. And this is one that he had arrived only a few days ago. But you know how it is sometimes, you order a deck and then you receive it and it just doesn't jibe. Now, when he mentioned this, I did look at a few pictures and I was like, I'm not really sure it's for me. Because it focuses on, well, as it says here, Ariadne and Dionysus. The Greek pantheon isn't anything that I'm that familiar with, although this is around Minoan and Crete. But he brought it along anyway. Probably knows that I would be tempted once I've hold them and have a look at them. And I was quite intrigued by it. And he was asking for quite a reasonable price. And so I decided, yeah, what the heck, let's give this deck a go. The artwork is quite unusual, but I'm quite taken by it. He also brought me some tea, which was a really nice gesture. And this is mint sauce. And he said, you'll probably be freaked out by the name of it, but try it. It is an acquired taste. I don't know if it's one that, I was going to say I would buy again, but it's been discontinued. So, yeah, it's different. Anyway, back to the deck. So, it was independently produced and it's by Linda Hill, and it comes with this beautiful book, which I've had a skim through. Now, the system is a little bit different. One of the things I think that will initially confuse me is the courts, because the courts are different in each suit. The suits do reference, they have changed their names slightly, like blades for swords, but they are traditional in the sense that they're representing the elements. But each court within the suit is a different structure, as you'll see when we proceed with it. I just wanted to read you the back, and I'm not that familiar on Ariadne and Dionysus, but the red thread, I am a little bit, although different cultures have referenced the red thread in different ways. But in the sense of Ariadne's red thread, it's to find your way through certain situations in life, the labyrinth of life, if you like. And I know different Greek pantheons have been referenced in terms of using a red thread to navigate their way through a maze or through a labyrinth. But that's the idea of this deck, as I understand it anyway. So on the back it says, 5,000 years ago, an advanced Bronze Age civilization was founded and became known as Minoan Crete. So if you are familiar with Greece and the islands around there, Crete is quite a touristy place now. At the very heart of this society was nature, which was honoured in the form of the Great Mother Goddess and was highly revered by the people in their everyday life, rituals and artwork. This tarot will traverse the myth of Ariadne and Dionysus. You have heard the call. There is so much for you to encounter in the labyrinth, for this is where you find shadow and light, tears, sadness and joy, wounds and love. You may feel challenged and overcome at times, excited too, but always full of love and devotion. Walk the pathways of initiation where you'll find unity and wholeness. The labyrinth awaits your presence. And there's quotes here as well. And then on the back of the box, it's very similar. As you can see, it talks about 5,000 years ago. Yeah, so it's got the same text. I like this. This is replicated on the back of all the cards. So it says, then it seemed like falling into the labyrinth. We thought we were at the finish, but our way bent round and we found ourselves, as it were, back at the beginning and just as far from that which we were seeking at first. So I quite like that. I thought that was quite a clever little design. On the side, it says to ask who Ariadne is, to follow the thread all the way to the end that leads us to the center of the labyrinth. And at that center, we find Ariadne herself. And that's Christine Downing, written from the goddess. To seek the ecstasy that Dionysus represents is to seek joy, an exaltation of the spirit, gladness, delight, the beatitude of the heaven or paradise. And that's Robert Johnson from Ecstasy, taken from Ecstasy. So quick look at the book. You have at the beginning just the kind of introduction, acknowledgements, dedications, prayer to the mother goddess. The prologue is about the Minotaur. And then you get your contents here. So you get the mythic journey. So it tells you about Ariadne and Dionysus. You get your introduction, the myth of Ariadne and Dionysus, the Minoan civilization, the tarot structure, which is a little bit different in this deck, introduction to the arcanas. You get your major R and minor. So the discs is the element of earth, which is, you know, discs, coins, pentacles. The red threads are the element of fire. The blades, element of air, so like swords, and the cups is the element of water. So a little poem here, the mythic journey, and then Ariadne, a Carl Jung quote here, Ariadne waking, and then you get your introduction to Ariadne and Dionysus. You can read about them there, and the labyrinth awaits your presence. I like the fact as well that the tarot is being referred to as a labyrinth, because life can seem very much like a labyrinth in which we need some steer to find our way out, the red thread. Yeah, and a little bit here about the myth of Ariadne and Dionysus. So there's quite a nice bit of reading to do here. And then about the Minoans, the discovery in 1900, Arthur Evans, a British archaeologist, and his team were given permission to excavate an area in Crete. They uncovered a building structure that held over 1,000 interlocking rooms that appeared to be both religious, residential, and work orientated. So that tells you a little bit about that civilization. And it says here, out of the dark blue sea, there lies a land called Crete, a rich and lovely land, washed by the waves on every side. That's by Homer. Right, so the structure, this is quite important. So our fool becomes the dancer in this deck, and that is Ariadne. I'm not going to pronounce all of these, you know, gods and goddesses and deities, and I'll know some of them like Icarus, but yeah. The magician, we have the goddess, the queen, the king, the hierophant. Lovers, we have the cart instead of the chariot. Justice is at key 8. The hermit is probably And that's the card that made me go, yeah, okay, I'll buy this. Yeah, we all experience that, don't we? Where we see one particular image, we're like, wow, love that. The Labyrinth is the Wheel of Fortune, which is also representing Ariadne. Strength, the Hanged Priestess. We have Death, Temperance, the Dark God. Dionysus is the devil. The Fall is the Tower, Icarus. Star, Moon, and the Sun. And then we have Rebirth instead of Judgment, and the Universe instead of the World. I've already mentioned how the suits are broken up: discs, threads, blades, and cups. So the court cards, the discs represent goddesses and gods. The red threads are witches, big up witches. The blades is king, queen, king, prince, youth, and the cups is goddess, god, priestess, and priest. So you see those different groupings for courts in relation to the suits that they're in. Now, the symbols on the cards, and this threw me a little bit because they're using the Minoan numbering system. So upright sticks are your numbers 1 through to 9, and then lengthways, so vertical sticks, go up in multiples of 10. So that's how they did it. So for instance, if I just quickly give you an example, because it could be quite confusing. If we're looking at the Magician, which has the stick there, and then we look at card 10, if I find card 10, the cards, just this, 10, the stick goes that way. And similarly, when we get to the Great Mother, which is number 2, when we get to card 20, it's that way. So when I first looked at that, I thought, oh, card 2, Rebirth, you know, and then I realised how it's all coming together. So anyway, we'll get to the cards in a minute. These are humongous as well, but they really make the artwork pop. So that's how the minor arcana and the structure of the deck works. Then we go into the arcanas and we go into the cards. So you get a full size image, and that's even if we're in the minors, nice full size image. You get a quote by somebody who's famous or a writer. So this is Alan Watts. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. So each card has an I am as well. So the Dancer, which is Ariadne, which is the Fool, starting the journey, the soul journey. I am the dance. And you see all the way through, I am willpower, I am perspectives. So that's quite nice. Then you get the myth. So you get the myth about not only the person in the card, like Ariadne, because she appears quite a few times, so you will get different situations. Ariadne was no fool. And then you get the soul journey here. And this is your wild card, as it says at the bottom, and so on all the way through. The Magician, I am manifestation. So it makes sense that way. Beautiful book. Really looking forward to reading this at the weekend when I have a bit of time. It's lovely, really, really nice. All right, let's take a look at the cards. I think I'll bring the camera down a little bit so you can get a closer look. Okay, so as you can see, it comes in this nice 2-part box. It doesn't have the thumb cutouts, but it's not needed because it opens really, really easily. So nice sturdy box. And then, oh, turn them around the wrong way. Let's put that like that. Now, these cards are really large. This is a standard US Games tarot size. Look at the difference. So it's quite significantly larger. So if you do have small hands, you might struggle with these. I don't, but even I, you know, find them quite. I would probably have to shuffle them that way. I nearly did it then. That would have put them all out of order. It's a nice thick deck. It is a bit of a chunky deck. The other wrong way around. Cardstock is really nice and thick. It has a nice silky satiny feel. Really nice actually. These are the backs which has the labyrinth on them. It has those words. Some people don't like words on backs of cards, but I like it because it's part of that labyrinth design. I think these backs are stunning. So yeah, we'll go through the deck so you can see the images. There is nudity in this deck, so just as a bit of a warning now, if that's something that you don't like to see, we see both male genitalia, etc. So as I said, our dancer is our full card, so there's no number. We're not using any of the Minoan you know, way of depicting the numbers here. So we've got the dancer, which is our fool. Which is beautiful. I love the use of colour in this deck. We have our magician, which is number 1. And that's I am the manifested. But do you see here, look, he's holding the thread. We have, instead of our high priestess, the great mother. And we've still got the columns here. Do you see this in the background? Because at first I thought the great mother, is that more of an empress vibe? But here is our empress card. And this is the queen. Again, some people would argue that the high priestess is a queen, but queen, you know, a mother earth. I love how voluptuous she is. I love how she's here with this little minotaur. And then we have the king instead of the emperor. So we have, instead of empress, the queen, and emperor is the king. And you can see the numbers, how they appear here for key 4. The Hierophant remains. I wondered if they would have perhaps changed the name of Hierophant, but I love all the symbols here. I wonder if the book tells you anything about the body art. So we are on the Hierophant. I'll just have a quick look at what it says. Okay, so there isn't actually text that kind of explains the image, but I really just wanted to point out, I'm going to read this bit so you get an idea, not the whole sort of like, you know, the Hierophant of what you would normally get, but these mysteries are fantastic. We've also got a cool little quote here from the Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, who I've met actually. This is my simple religion. No need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Your own mind, your own heart is the temple. Your philosophy is simple kindness. That's quite a famous quote. I have read that before a few times. So giving you the mystery or the myth or the legend for our Hierophant card, it says the god Kronos murdered all of his children after an oracle prophesied that one of them would eventually take over his throne. His terrified pregnant wife Rhea fled to Minoan Crete, where she gave birth in the cave of bees. Here her child would live free of his father's wrath and violence. Rhea named him Zeus, and he was raised and nurtured with milk and honey by Elmathea and the Melissa bee priestesses, who resided in the sacred cave. As he grew older, they taught him prophecy, ancient knowledge and the mysteries. The cave became an oracular shrine where Zeus could be contacted. Through the eons, people have visited the cave of Zeus in Crete, and they still do. So I'm going to love reading this book. Here's our lovers. Look how beautiful that is. And of course, the book tells you who they are. The cart for our chariot, number 7. Oh, we're getting a bit of, I might have to bring the light down because we're getting a bit of shadow from the setting sun. Justice. Justice, I'm going to move these along a bit because there's a shadow being cast. Justice is number 8, as you can see here, rather than 11. This Hermit card, I mean, look at this. Look how gorgeous this is. I love this. And this was the card that made me decide to buy it from my friend. The Labyrinth for number 10. The stick goes horizontally now. And then like that for 11. Strength. We have the Hanged Priestess for 12. Here we have Death, which I can see a foot and a leg. It looks like it's really hard to depict, isn't it, what this image is for the Death card. Temperance. The Dark God for the Devil, which is Dionysus. The Fall for the Tower. I love these kind of wings just expanding out as well. The Star, beautiful image. The Moon. The Sun. We have Rebirth for our Judgment card. So we have a death and a rebirth. And then we have the Universe. Lots of headless figures here, like the one in the Death card that I said was quite hard to make out. Okay, so then we go into our minors. So I'll go a little bit quicker. So we've got our cups and we have our ace. Love this image. This is the 2 of cups. The 3 of cups. The 4. Five of cups. Oh wow, look at that for the 6 of cups. Excuse me. 7. I love how the colours change as well from each card. So for this suit, for the cup suit, we have Priest, Priestess, the God of Cups, which again here is Dionysus, and we have the Goddess of Cups, which is Ariadne. Then we have our threads. Look how vibrant and fiery that red is. So this is the red thread, which is representing the fire element, as you see here. 2, 3, 4, it's pretty. 5, 6, 7, 8, for this suit, we have the witches. So we have the Witch of Threads, which, as you can see here, is Circe. And they're all Witch of Threads, so it can get a little bit confusing, but that's why we have an additional named here. Witch of Threads Crete. Witch of Threads Medea. And the Witch of Threads Persephone. I don't know if I've pronounced that right. Persephone. I love this card. And then we have our blades, which is our swords, our air suit. Look at that, the 2 with the blindfold. The 3 with the pierced hearts. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Quite a traditional 10 really, isn't it? The Youth of Blades. So we have Youth in this court system, Prince, the Queen, and the King. So they don't have names of any deities. And then we have our discs. I think this is a beautiful image for the Ace of Discs. The 2, the balance look on the head of this ox, where it looks like an ox. The 3 of discs. 4. 5, look at that. These rats, look. Such a powerful image. 6. 7, 8, 9. We've got the bird, we've got the plants, trees. The 10. And then here we have God of Discs Dionysus, Goddess of Discs, I got these the wrong way around, Poppy, Goddess of Discs Bird. Oh no, I haven't, because the goddesses come after the gods. Bird and Goddess of Discs Snake. So for this court family, we have 1 god and 3 goddesses. So Dionysus is here, and then we have the poppies, the bird, and the snake. So there you have it. That is the red thread tarot. Really it grew on me. But I think that's the beauty sometimes. Very often, like the person that I got this from, very often we might see something and think, oh yeah, I've gotta have that, you know, I can really see myself working with it, connecting with it, and then we get them and it doesn't work out. Whereas I was the opposite way around, where I'd seen some images and thought, nah, it's not really for me, but then had the opportunity to look through the cards this lunchtime and the book, and made the decision to get the deck. So yeah, so Rob, if you're watching this, thank you for selling this to me. Thank you for your tea, certainly an acquired taste. Thank you everybody else for watching, and I should be back in the week, but if not, where are we? We're Tuesday, aren't we? Saturday will be our next spotlight on new UK releases with the lovely Cheryl from Oneness Emporium. So it was very popular, the first one. So hopefully you'll be able to join us on Saturday to have a look at some new releases where we'll actually have them in our hands. Until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.